said, "Hi Craig, would you prefer to win the Premier League on its own this year or the Champions League, FA Cup and Carabao Cup together?" So for me, Will, I'm probably different to the majority of our fan base. I would put the European Cup at the top of my wish list every single season. Now, of course, I wanted us to win the league title. That 30-year wait was too long. And it would be nice to go past Manchester United. But I think that's the biggest prestigious trophy for me, the European Cup. That's how this club is European royalty. So for me, I would take option B, European Cup, and the 2 domestic cups. But either one of those 2 scenarios that you've said there, Will, I think would give us a pretty good season. So I wouldn't say no to either of them, mate. But my preference would always be the European Cup. But that's just me. I think if I put that to the chat, most people would probably say the league title. Although, Will, you may have just given us our first poll of the night, mate. So let me get that together in a second. I think it takes more consistency, by the way, to go and win a Premier League title. 38-game season. I think it's a better indication of your quality. But I don't know. I just love the European Cup. There's something about old big ears and those magical European nights. Will said, this year, for me, it's the Prem, Craig. Well, look, yes. I think stopping Man City, beating Arsenal to the title, it would certainly make a big statement. But I can't lie. If you said to me right now, you can have one of the 2, I'm always edging to the Champions League. You know, when I grew up and I look back at the big nights at Anfield and the things that made me fall in love, I'm seeing Crazy Horse. I'm seeing those guys lifting old big ears above their head. And I was even watching European Kings on LFC TV yesterday and, you know, looking at all of Liverpool's victories in the European Cup, and it's just special. It's just special. So maybe it's because in my lifetime, I've seen Liverpool win more European Cups than I have league titles, which sounds mental, right? Because remember, I only started supporting Liverpool 89-90, so I've not really seen the success on the domestic front, but I've always seen us have a little taste of European success. But I understand exactly where you're coming from, Will. You know, most Liverpool fans, I think, would prefer the Premier League. You know, people, that whole thing about the Premier League being, or the league being the bread and butter, that's true as well. Even, you know, when you hear Guardiola speaking and stuff, he often says, again, you can blag your way through a Champions League with a little bit of form or peaking at the right time, but you can't blag your way to a league title. You just can't do it. How funny would it be if Aston Villa win the Prem? Look, I'd much rather they win it, Rob, than Arsenal or Manchester City. You know, just being honest, I have nothing but respect for Aston Villa. Not that I don't have respect for Arsenal, but I do like the idea of them having to wait a bit longer for a league title. Another league title, I should say. If City are guilty, the Premier League titles have no credibility in my eyes. Well, look, I'm not even waiting for them to be guilty or not, Andrew. In my eyes, bro, they don't have any credibility. End of conversation. Nothing about Manchester City and the modern era has any credibility in my eyes, mate. And I won't give them their fair dues because I don't believe they're due it. Now, on the other hand, if Arsenal were to win the league this year, as much as it would hurt, I promise you I would give them their credit for the way that they've done it, the way that they've built the club back up. I would. I'd have no problem crediting them. I'm not a sore loser, but I am a sore loser where I feel like we're losing to a stacked deck. And that's how I feel about Manchester City. Right, let's check back in on our poll from earlier on. We said, which one of these would you prefer Liverpool to win? The Premier League or the Champions League? And so far, with about 840 odd votes, you guys are going 70% to say that you would prefer Liverpool to win the Premier League.